say a bureaucrat can only be as good or bad as the leader that they're working with. Now, you have worked with many. When I say with, I mean sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. Many chief ministers as well. Let me start with the chief minister you seem to have had the maximum run-ins with, or the maximum negative impressions on or of, is Mayawati, the BSP leader. Talk about that time. Talk about that time, because not everybody has yet read your book. They will read the book, but I have had the occasion to read the book, so I want you to talk about it.
Not very pleasant memories.
Yes. What is the abiding memory of working with Mayawati when she was Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh?
Undercurrent of corrupt practices.
How does that make her regime different from other regimes that would have also had corruption?
The levels that I saw shocked me. The levels at which decisions were happening. So I was her special secretary. So one of my jobs was also in one of the weeks I used to be the day officer. And I had the occasion to see a few things, and it wasn't a good experience. It was sad. I mean, imagine a district magistrate with a briefcase walking into the room and leaving the briefcase behind. And when he comes out, I ask him, what did you bring in the briefcase? He said, files laya tha. मैंने कहा, DM तो कोई file लाता नहीं, chief minister के पास. So it was writ large on his face. I said, you are demonstrating to her that all of us can do something which we shouldn't be doing it. And then the expectation will be from others. So in my book, since you mentioned it, Encounters Politicians, I don't blame the politicians. I don't blame the politicians because they would be what they are in the context in which they're working. But it is not for the civil servants to do what they are doing. Because I'm a part of that family and I feel sad. You ask this question that civil servants are determined by the environment. I don't agree.
They say the honors Babu gets transferred.
So be it, you do something else. For the IAS, every job is important. Every job is important. Why are you bothered? Transfer is an excuse that many of us use to hide our inefficiency. I keep saying, don't treat politician as a villain, which I discovered after 10 years in my career. I used to treat them as villains. Later on, I realized he has his own compulsions. He has his own limitations. Then I understood the difference between compromise and accommodation. And you should not compromise on anything illegal. But accommodation is important.
Supporters of the BSP leader, Mayawati, say that she is judged more harshly than other leaders who do the same. They imply a certain kind of casteist bias, a certain kind of caricaturing of her as a leader. That when I remember this used to happen in the media when her birthday was celebrated, when an iconography was created around her in those parks and so on that came up in Uttar Pradesh. There was a lot of criticism, but the same criticism, it was said then, was not applied to other leaders.
I'm not talking about people who I have not worked with. Let me compare Mayawati with, say, Kalyan Singh.
Yeah.
Both I worked with. I was in her secretariat, I was in his secretariat. And I can't say what others did. They may have been corruption. I saw one of the most honest politicians in Kalyan Singh. And thereafter, I joined Mayawati. So for me, it was chalk and cheese.
I'll come to Kalyan Singh. But when you say what you carry from the Mayawati years for you is brazen corruption in that government, is that what you're saying?
I didn't see corrupt practices per se, but I saw things which may have been corrupt. So for example, I'll give you another example, which I've narrated in my book. I'm again an officer on duty in the morning. She calls me in. She's trying to read a file. So she asked me, ये क्या है? तो I told her, हो सकता है. मैंने कहा, मैडम ये तो नियम के विरुद्ध नहीं हो सकता. अच्छा ठीक है. Matter got over. I came and sat outside. An officer, couple of years senior to me, also in the secretariat, walks in later on, goes inside, and then she comes along with that officer. अरे तुम तो कह रहे तो नहीं हो सकता, ये तो कह रहे हो सकता है.
No. So she used another officer to undercut you.
So this never happened with Kalyan Singh. We told him this is incorrect. It was not done. No, there are two extremes. I mean, there could be chief ministers in between, more corrupt, less corrupt. For them, it would be hearsay for me. I am talking about what I personally suffered. So I saw these two persons, and that's why maybe I am more biased against Mayawati, because I had seen Kalyan Singh earlier, totally an epitome of honesty. And here I saw a person who could do anything.
Why? And indeed, in the same book, your admiration for Kalyan Singh does come through. What made him different from other politicians you've encountered?
It was difficult to visualize that you can have a politician like him, And I narrate incidents why I come to what I say. I remember I got a call from a batchmate of mine who was chief development officer in his home district. And he says कि इनके लड़के ने CDO की गाड़ी ले ली है. CDO की. So I was accompanying Mr. Kalyan Singh to an event. In those days we didn't have mobile phones, no? So I mentioned to him कि आपके साहबजादे ने वो गाड़ी ले ली है CDO की. So he stopped. He said घर चलिए आप. He went back home. घर से he spoke to somebody. Very angry. He was talking to. I was sitting outside, and then he came out. By the evening, the vehicle had been returned. This is one of the many examples that I saw. Like in transfers and posting, it used to be a racket of doctors in UP. He set it right. He did not allow it to happen. So what I saw of him, people say he changed later on, I don't know. Whatever I have written is about my total personal experience either with Kalyan Singh or Mayawati.
But when I think as a reporter of Kalyan Singh, the history books will say Kalyan Singh and then they'll say Babri Masjid demolition. Right? I want you to talk about that time. There have been so many theories. Narasimha Rao looked the other way. Was there a pact between Kalyan Singh and Narasimha Rao, a BJP leader and a Congress leader?
I wouldn't know what was behind. I can tell you what was in front. Okay. On the day, 6th of December, it was a holiday. But my job was to go to his residence every day in the morning to brief him about the media coverage on the previous day. On this particular day, when I walk into his room, he's sitting alone. Usually he never sat alone. Because everyone was in Ayodhya, sitting there, a bit forlorn, a bit upset. And then we were generally chatting, and then on telephone he got news that the dome has come down. He was so upset. He immediately called Mr. Advani and he let it out.
Really?
He let it out.
You witnessed that?
I saw it with my own eyes and I heard it.
What did he say?
He said, आप सब लोगों को मैंने मना किया था कि लोगों को इकट्ठा ना कीजिए, लेकिन आपने मेरी बात नहीं मानी. These are his words. And then he spoke to Bhairav Singh Shekhawat. That was a much longer chat. Because Bhairav Singh Shekhawat was the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Same words he said, कि आप लोग मेरी बात तो मानते ही नहीं थे. मैं इसका समाधान निकाल रहा था, आपको मेरी बात सुननी चाहिए थी. And I know something about the समाधान he was taking out. I don't know much.
What was the
He was trying to engage with various groups, minority groups. And his solution was something which finally Supreme Court gave the solution.
That is what you have argued, that what Kalyan Singh was trying to do as UP Chief Minister, eventually Supreme Court का फैसला कुछ ऐसा ही निकला.
Yes. So why? Now I try and analyze, I reflect on.
Yeah.
If I were in his place, probably I would also think that way, because I have become a Chief Minister of a state. And I know if this comes down, I'll lose my Chief Ministership.
Right.
Why would he do that? People argue, no. He was under enormous pressure. Kalyan Singh was under enormous pressure. Now, as an outsider, I can say he should have done this, he should have done that, he should have deployed more force, this, that and everything. Very easy to say. Maybe he should have. But the fact, what I heard and saw was this, that he was extremely upset at that. And then he says, Anil, एक पेपर लाओ. मैं पेपर ले आया. उन्होंने उस पर लिखना शुरू किया कि ये जो कुछ भी हुआ है इसका पूर्ण उत्तरदायित्व मैं लेता हूँ किसी अन्य. Later on, I'm told it was typed and sent. But he said that. So I was comparing this with Dr. Manmohan Singh.
The fact that Dr. Manmohan Singh did not take ownership,
yes.
but Kalyan Singh
That's leadership. That's leadership for me. That's leadership for me. A leader has to take the responsibility. Leader has to give credit to others.